Hello again. Looks like this will be the last part for now on my LWRC M6A2. I received it back from the factory, as I said in my reprieve video, and what they had done is they put a new upper receiver on it. On the first trip in, they replaced the lower. On the second trip in, they replaced the upper. The fit is pretty darn good now. The finish, as always, was outstanding. The only small complaint is the, let's see, she's clear. The only complaint now is that trigger pin. Quite a big hole for that pin. Maybe I'll get an oversized pin. That'd be a cheap fix. Maybe I'll get the bars, the anti-rotation pin bars that go on the outside. I think they look cool. They probably won't serve any purpose for me. Or, with any luck, I'll get a Wilson Tactical TTU. That was all covered in the previous videos. As usual, the Acog functions flawlessly when I took her to the range to check the gun out. And what I found with my newly returned, brand new, used gun at this point from LWRC is this. It would shoot 3 bullets into the same hole when it was cool. I didn't have this happen on any other firearm that I've owned. This seems a bit more susceptible to heat than other rounds. This is a 1-in-7 barrel, which necessitates a slightly heavier bullet for some real accurate shooting. But I was shooting 55 grain Wolf through it and 55 grain Federal. And neither one of those is the best ammo for accuracy shooting. I just wanted to get the Acog zeroed in pretty good. And what would happen is I'd shoot a string for 15 minutes, and I didn't wait real long between shots. I just was pumping them down range. And I was holding like 2 MOA, sometimes out to 3, and then it'd come back. And the groups are usually 1.5 to 2 MOA. And then they'd call line clear. We'd go to check our targets, and I'd make an adjustment or two. I'd come back, and after this thing sat for 5 minutes in the breeze, I think it was 85, 90 degrees when I shot. It might have been over 90, really. It was pretty darn hot. And the first round would impact, and it was generally dead on straight. The second round would go through that same hole, and then the third round would again go through that same hole. After the third round was fired, it would start to open up. And I'm not talking large, maybe 2 MOA, 1.5, but the first 3 bullets went through the same hole. And this didn't just happen once, it didn't happen twice, but it happened 3 times after the line was called clear that I put the first 3 through the same hole with this rifle. After that, she warms up a little bit, and it seems to open up a bit. I don't know if that has something to do with the lightweight bullet. At 55 grain, I'm shooting through a 1-in-7 twist, or if that is something to do with this gas piston system and just the design in the rifle or the barrel or something else going on. But with Federal Walmart ammo, 55 grain, full metal jacket, it put 3 into the same hole 3 different times right after the line was called hot. After the gun would warm up, it would open up a bit. I'd call that good enough. If I want to need more than 3 shots, I'm generally going to need a lot of shots, and I'm not going to worry about it being 2 MOA as opposed to 0.25 MOA. So that's not something I'm going to be concerned with at that point. The rifle functioned perfectly, and I have to give LWRC their credit because it is due. This gun has never hiccuped and never failed. The only failure to fire this gun ever had was when a bad round was jammed into the chamber and didn't seat all the way because the casing was bent, which is the only round that I've ever received from Wolf that was bad. It was a dented case which put it out of round, and it wouldn't fit into the chamber. That was not the gun's fault. It was stuck in the gun, and I had to yank with both hands on the charging handle as hard as I could to pull that thing out of the chamber, and the gun held up to that. So it's a good extractor, good quality build, function is unbelievable. Accuracy is pretty good. I'll try heavier bullets in the future, even though I just bought another 1,000 rounds of 55 grain. I have a 1 in 9 on my Olympic, and that thing shoots those things just like the first 3 rounds out of this gun. It'll shoot the same hole if I do my part. So I shoot that gun a lot. I enjoy shooting it, and the 55 grains work pretty good out of this, especially for what I like to do, and 62s weren't on sale when I bought these. So I'll get through these rounds eventually, and then I'll try some 62s, or maybe I'll find a box or 2 of 62s to see if this keeps the same thing going. But the reprieve is complete. I have that small complaint, which I've said both times now, I can live with. The steel case ammo, and if you were watching the beginning, you saw I checked it, did chip the anodizing again, right there. Now, oh, I'm sorry, that was brass that chipped it. Yeah, it was brass ammo. That was the Federal. On a lot of the other ones, I noticed they're rounded a little more right here, where the milling comes together, than it is on this rifle. I think it's that hard break in the aluminum where the anodizing, I don't know if that's an LWRC thing. I haven't really noticed. I'd have to go look at my Olympic, but the Olympic's never chipped. And this one, the deflector works great where they've got it, and I've never had one come back towards me, but fact is it chipped just like the other one. It's no big deal. I really don't care. It's aluminum. It'll live forever. But that was just something I noticed. Otherwise, the thing is perfect. So, as far as the angled foregrip goes, it didn't give me any trouble from the bench, off of sandbags, and was extremely handy standing up. I found that I like this thing a lot. I do believe that I'm going to leave it on the gun. It will need some more time before I give it a 100% pass, but it seems to be a quality addition to the gun. If you guys are thinking about getting one, I'd recommend it. I do like it. Everyone who's grabbed the gun has really liked it. It changes the whole balance and the feel of the weapon. Well, that's a quick update. LWRC is forgiven, and I do believe it was that same gentleman who was kind of a jerk to me that I talked to in the end, who had came around. He is also forgiven. My gun is back, and I am happy. That's all I wanted in the first place. It kind of sucks that I had to go through what I did to get to this point, especially for that price point, for that cost, for a weapon of this, like this. I mean, I could have bought or built 3 or bought 2 really nice ones. Hell, I could have got a Noveski. But the fact is it's all said and done now. The gun is good, and I am happy, and she shoots well. I don't know why she opens up. That could be an ammo issue after a couple rounds when it gets warm. But I'm hoping it's just an ammo issue, and I guess I'll update eventually on that. But as for now, I believe I'm done doing videos on this one unless I buy something else for it. Hope you guys enjoyed this little series, and stay safe.